And away we go. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. FTG Thursday at the Morning Night Live. I hope you're ready because I'm loaded. Not like loaded, that kind of loaded, but I'm just, holy smokes, do I got a lot of stuff today. So we're going to go through a lot of things very quickly, and I'm not going to try to avoid tangents. And we'll just see how it works. Where is everybody? Holy smokes. Is this thing on? I think so. There's only 9 people here. What the hell's going on? Is it the most wonderful time of the year and people just are not jumping in, or the notifications not going out? Who knows? Good morning to the Roman people. Yeah, you're over there. And there's that. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on here. But anyway, well, I'll kill some time until some more people show up. Thanks for those who are here now, and we'll start the show and all that stuff. But and get your FTGs ready. There's a few. There's a few. And why is this guy in the trends? Why? Who gives a shit about what he? Did I just swear? Who gives a damn about what he thinks? But he's trending like very high, so I'm just gonna, well, all right, look, this is so easy. If you say, why is he trending? It's simple, and I'll tell you after we start the show. Johnny, would you do me a favor and play the intro?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Thursday, FTG Thursday, the 14th of December, 2023. 16 days till Christmas, 15 shopping days for those who are counting. And just realizing that I'm not sure that I'm all that ready for Christmas. Although Lady Boomer and I decided not to get each other's gifts this year. And instead, we bought some tickets to the New Year's Eve Vikings-Packer game in Minneapolis. And I'm excited because I haven't been to a Vikings. Well, let's just put it this way. The last time I went to a Vikings game, it was with Lady Boomer, but she wasn't Lady Boomer yet. I don't think she was. Was she? Was it before we were married or after we were married? No, it must have been after we were married. We went to a Vikings exhibition game. But we got tickets. I mean, tickets were expensive. There was a friend of ours whose families had tickets for years, have really, really good seats. So she didn't want her tickets, and so we bought them. And then that's our experience that we've got each other for Christmas. So, and everything else, we're just going to be kind of chill. We have sometimes people come over Christmas Eve. I always make chili on Christmas Eve. My chili's really good. I might someday share my chili recipe. But I want to do it. I want to compete with it. I actually want to put my chili in a contest because I've had so many people go, "Oh my gosh, you should compete with this." And it's not a hard recipe, but it's not one that most people probably thought of doing. And I just, one of these days one day I was experimenting. I'm like, well, let's throw some of this in here. We'll throw some of that in there and see how that works. And it worked so well that everyone just like, oh my gosh, you need to put this in a contest, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, that's that. Anyway, so, can you guys hear me okay? I can't hear me. There we go. I'm turning my monitor up a little bit. I couldn't even hear myself. Anyway, let's say hi and get this thing on the road because I got so much to do. First, I want to thank a few people, though, because I see a couple people already retweeted or tweeted the show out. Who did that? That would be Grampy Hotep, a.k.a. Reaccion Puerto Rico. And Somnambule Nation, Tyler F., Scribe Light. And I could have sworn I just saw... Didn't I see somebody else did? And I don't know what happened to it. Oh, I got to do a purge here pretty soon. I haven't done a Twitter purge yet in a couple days. And I'm getting, I'm up to like, I think 44 or something like that, where, the fake accounts, they put, and it's what, it's weird. I think all but one of the 45 or 47, whatever number I'm on, of those accounts are all pictures of women. I think they just think that women, if a woman follows you, you just follow them back. But I don't follow them back. I don't follow any of these dummies back because I know they're fake accounts. I mean, there's obvious signs, whatever. Anyway, let's say hi. First in the chat on Rumble would be Hurricane Franzi. Way to go. Some new blood up the top of the list. And then also Mr. Tyre Alexander. I'm only doing that for you once today, brother, but it's always epic. It's such an entrance, I always feel like you should be in battle armor, walking through with a giant battle axe. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, and then first on YouTube, Mr. Tyler F. is first in the building, gets the bell. And good morning also, W.R. Costa, nice to have you back. Haven't seen you for a while. Good morning, Lord Stanhope, Attack Alpaca, Green Badger Outdoors, Tyre Alexander, the Gentleman Lich. Good morning, JB, Lord Stanhope, Reaccion Puerto Rico, Somnambule Nation, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. What's up? Also, good morning to... Septus Wolf, what's up? Who hates Christmas? And Kay, what's up? Nice to see you. I want to stop by for Christmas Eve with Nick. You know what? We shoto do that. All right, we'll communicate outside of this thing here. That would be awesome. I'd love to have you guys come by. We'd love to have people come by. And then also, good morning, Simon Wolfwood, Aaron Meredith, and Furry Kittens in the house. And it's, this is strange. I wonder if everyone's getting notifications because usually people are in here faster. And also, Phantom Dogfart. Good morning over on Rumble. Nice to have you here. By the way, if you are, obviously you're in the chat, so I know you're here. How about if you all hit the like button at some point? There's 10 people on Rumble and about 20 people on YouTube. Hit the like button. Well, it's 9 people because I always count myself. That number includes me as how many windows are open. Say hi on both sides, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right, let's get into it right away because, like I said, I have, at least, do I have 50 tabs open? By the way, today's show. Oh, what happened there? That's not what I want to do. Where's the? Oh, here we go. Okay, I want the store in this one. View store. Oh, it opens a new window. Let me shut this down. Today's show is brought to you by the new, the improved, the ever excellent global warming ever since the Ice Age shirt. A new shirts on the Teespring line. I only have 2 shirts in there. I'm going to be adding a couple more this week. But this is the current new favorite, the global warming ever since the Ice Age shirt. It's a t-shirt on Teespring. There's hoodies and there's hats and there are no hats. Mostly sweatshirts, hoodies. There's a die cut sticker. There's coffee cups, 2 coffee cups. and in multiple colors. All of these items come in multiple colors. For example, if you wanted this one in pink or blue, a light blue, well, that's kind of I don't know what the hell that is, light blue or royal blue or purple. There you go. You can get that one in those 5 colors, all different kinds of things in there. So you can support the show and get some cool stuff to wear. It doesn't even have my name on it. See, I don't put my name on my merch. I just try to figure out some cool stuff. And this was one of those things I've been talking about for ages, the global warming ever since the Ice Age. Again, there's the logo with 3 cavemen doing selfies on smartphones, watching the glacier melt. I'm gonna actually have a whole line of the global warming shirts or climate change shirts, just to poke fun at some of the alarmists. Okay, so there you go. So thank you for if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go ahead and grab one. All right, let's get into the show because, like I said, thousands tab. Good morning, GunFox61, the ever loyal and faithful administrator of the P-Dog Night Discord server. And thank you, SwapFoxGhost, for tweeting out the show. I appreciate that. And somebody else did too. And I think, there's 2 notifications, but I don't know what they're for. It's only that. Oh, I see. Because you did 2 things at the same time. All right, let's get into what's happening in the world, because especially in the world of X, the app formerly known as Twitter, the trending topics, because I always like to talk about what people are talking about. So here, let's start with this one. It is the feast. We're doing the days, and it seems in December, every day is some kind of a saint's day. Well, today is Saints' Day, is the feast of St. John of the Cross. Now, I'm not familiar with all these saints, but here it is. Today the church celebrates the memorial of St. John of the Cross. He was he was alive from 1542 to 1591. Juan de Yepes was the Castilian son of a poor silk weaver of Fontiveros, Toledo, Spain, and was born in 1524. His father was of noble birth. He had married much beneath him. Oh, see the little caste system going on there. Married much beneath him, and for that offense had been entirely cut off by his family. He had taken to silk weaving as a means of livelihood, but had never been able to make much of it. Soon after the birth of Juan, he died. What? Soon after the birth of what? Wait a minute. Oh, his son. No, wait. What? Oh, soon after. What is this? How could this be? Soon after the birth of Juan, he died, worn out with the effort to keep his wife and 3 children. The family. I think. I see. Maybe he meant after the birth of his son. I don't know. The family was left in direst poverty. The child grew up always underfed, so that to the end of his life, Juan remained dwarfed in stature. Unable to learn a trade, he became the servant of the poor in the hospital of Medina while still pursuing his sacred studies. In 1563, being then 21, he humbly offered himself as a lay brother to the Carmelite friars, who, however, knowing his talents, had him ordained a priest. He would now have exchanged to the severe Carthusian order, had not Saint Teresa of Avila, with the instinct of a saint, persuaded him to remain and help her in the reform of his own order. Thus he became the prior of the Discalced. Oh my God, this is like reading a tongue twister. Of the Discalced, meaning barefoot, Carmelites. His reform, though approved by the general, was rejected by the elder friars, who condemned the saint as a fugitive and apostate and cast him into prison, whence he only escaped after 9 months' suffering at the risk of his life. Twice again before his death, he was shamefully persecuted by his brethren and publicly disgraced, but his complete abandonment by creatures only deepened his interior peace and devout longing for heaven. St. John was a great contemplative and spiritual writer. He was proclaimed Doctor of the Church by Pope Pius XI. On August 24th, 1926, he is the patron of contemplative life, mystical theology, mystics, and Spanish poets. And that's from some book called The Literal Pictorial of the Saints. So there you go. The mystic doctor, St. Juan of the Cross. Today is the very tedious holiday or whatever. It would be a much better story if Marty got it straight. I was having a hard time reading that. I did. Okay, that's the story. You could look. I have the link open, and it'll be in the links today. If you really want to know what the hell this is, what the hell St. John of the Cross Day is, there's a whole bunch of resources on Twitter. All right, let's move on because that took way too long. Axel Foley is trending. Axel F. Now, I'm going to come back to Axel F because if you know who Axel Foley is, type in the chat before I'll come back to it. I'm going to come back to Axel F. Axel Foley. Also trending Dear Santa. I don't know why. Maybe because it's just coming up on Christmas. And what I was going to do, I was going to go here to the Dear Santa trending topic and just scroll down, right? And, Somnable Nation knows. Cue the Juan Hammer music, exactly. But if you scroll down on things like this, you're probably going to see some boobs and butts. So we're not going to scroll down on it. And it's whatever. Somebody said, Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is my gross pay. There you go, Simon Wolfwood. Yes, Eddie Murphy. Okay, I've got one answer, and I'm sure some more are popping up. So here's why Axel Foley is trending, and I wish this were not true. But there's going to be another Beverly Hills Cop movie. Now, at first, I saw this news and I'm like, okay, who are they going to reprise in the role of Axel Foley? But guess what? It's going to be none other than Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, apparently, don't worry, they love him in Beverly Hills. Eddie Murphy returns in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, premiering summer 2024. Oh, it was Harold Faltermeyer. Jan Hammer is mine. You're right. Okay. So anyway, Now, I haven't watched the trailer, and I'm not going to watch it on the show, but here's some of the things that I'm reading about the trailer. No, well, they're calling it Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, because weren't there only two Beverly Hills Cops? Anyway, Christian Toto, who's kind of one of those movie critic kind of guys, he says, just as I feared, not a single laugh in the Beverly Hills Cop teaser, not even a real attempt at one. This is a comedy, right? Now, and it was kind of a comedy because Eddie Murphy is good at making certain things funny, like just with a look or whatever and whatever. There was a 3, I don't know, but this is just sad. This is just sad. And no, he doesn't go to San Francisco and gets poop on his shoe, but I wonder how many homeless people in Los Angeles they're going to show. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, here's the trailer. Hold it. I just noticed something in the trailer, and I don't know if I saw this right. I'm going to go backward. Okay, let's see here. Did I just see Kevin Bacon is in it too? Oh no, Kevin Bacon's in it, looking like he had a little work done there. He's looking a little squared off there, like someone did some extra stuff and got some of the puffy around his eyes gone. Anyway, so I'm going to have this link in there if you want to watch the trailer. We'll talk about it briefly tomorrow. Everyone watch the trailer, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow, what you thought of the trailer. I'm not going to watch it here just because, it's one of those things. All right, we already did Dear Santa's trending. Also trending this morning, what else is trending here? Nutcracker. Okay, wait a minute. We're going to watch this. And I hear it's brutal, and I have not seen it yet. I was going to do live reaction. And 3 things are trending related to Nutcracker. And I don't mean like the Nutcracker, well, it is the Nutcracker, like the ballet, except apparently the White House Christmas decoration, whatever thing, video premiered, and it has something to do with Nutcracker, okay? And unfortunately, it's fresh hell. I hear it's fresh hell. And 3 things are trending related to this: Nutcracker, White House, and Tacky. So Tacky is trending. And apparently, people are roasting Jill Biden for this. Now, real quick, I remember when there was one year Melania Trump, they revealed the White House Christmas decorations, and everyone kind of not everyone, people kind of panned it. One year it looked really weird. And then the next year she did this one like where there's all white trees down the hall and then all these kind of cool stuff. There was one year she did it cool. One year it looked like a fucking nightmare. And so a lot of people are comparing this particular reveal to Melania Trump's reveal. But let's watch. we're going to watch it. I'm going to put you through it. It's almost 3 minutes long. And there's stop. Hang on, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on in here. Now, by the way, remember the other day? There we go. Remember the other day, the White House released this picture of Joe Biden standing on a ladder and Jill Biden with the little plastic, those plastic bins you buy at Target or Walmart or whatever that you store your Christmas stuff in, and you put it up in the attic, you put it over in the basement shelves like we do it right over there. And it was clearly a staged picture, and everyone was making fun of it because it was staged, and there's no way they let Joe Biden stand on a ladder without someone in the Secret Service very close by in case he falls off of it. That's not what happened in the White House. Just let you know, they didn't decorate the White House themselves. But I'm going to subject you to this. If I have to watch it, you're going to watch it with me. So, without further ado, here is the reveal of the White House Christmas decorations. We're all going to watch it together, and we're going to go, what the hell is this? Here we go. Okay. Okay, that's nuts. What the fuck was that? What's with the furries? Okay, all right, let me stop here. Now, some people don't like the presentation, I heard, and I'm not, so far I don't care. I mean, they decided to do some ethnic tap dancing and all this and that. Not so bad, but I'm looking at the decoration so far. It kind of looks like a department store display so far. All right, let's keep going. I'm not sure why they've decided to do. Okay, close your mouth. Holy shit. Okay, this is from this is a jazz version of this is the dance of the no, it's not March of the Toys. It's and it's the opening thing. Anyway, but okay. You know what they're doing with this, you know what they're doing, because they're pandering to black people. That's okay. All right, now this is not so bad. The trees, I'm trying to avoid. I know the presentation's weird. I like the trees. I'm sorry, that's not tacky. At least this part, the hallway that looked like the department store displays, that was kind of tacky. But this part of the house looks pretty good. Kind of like it. I'm not sure why they are presenting it with tap dancing though, but whatever. It's entertainment. But this part of the house I like. I still do not figure out what the hell this guy is though. What is that? Why? Okay, so far it's not that bad. Dance to the Sugar Plum Fairies. Yes, that's what it is. Okay, I like their, okay, what do they call these things? Hang on a second. There's a name for it. Advent calendar. That's kind of cool. Big old advent calendar with the White House, made out of the White House. This is not, the decoration, I don't think they're that bad. How many tax dollars does this nonsense cost? Well, remember, Joe Biden, when it comes to tax dollars, money is no object because we can keep sending it to Ukraine. At least look, here's a good thing about this. At least they spent it here, okay? Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream, and Cracked, and Amazing Disgrace, and Special K on Acid. Now, it's the appropriately named Special K on Acid because you probably think you're doing on an acid trip right now, but we're going to do this. This is the presentation of the White House Christmas decorations, and look, I don't know why they did the tap dancing presentation. It's not as bad as people were saying it is. At least the decorations, except for that one hallway that looked like a department store display. Okay, let's keep going. Yes, FTG. Now, this is the one I don't understand. Why? Oh, because that's one of the mice. See, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. Yeah, that's one of the mice. I got it. Okay, it took me a minute. But I'm not understanding the presentation. I don't have a problem with this. I mean, it's just an entertaining way to present it. Now, look at this room. This room looks great. It's different. I mean, people have different styles, but at least it's not. It could have been way more tacky. People saying tacky. It's not tacky. It's just a weird presentation to show it. Those trees are beautiful. I love it. This is not terrible. I mean, the presentation's weird. And they're tap dancing in a carpeted room. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, the costumes are gaudy, but it's part of the look. Of course they're gaudy. It's supposed to be like nutcracker costumes, so to speak. So yeah, it's weird. Hi TC, how you doing? But I don't understand why. Well, never mind. I'm not going to go there. Cost is approximately 100 weekend drug and prostitute binge just to film. Well, see. And we're paying for it, so who cares? Okay, now, and this, I'm not, show me the tree. Okay, look, okay, now. It's easy to criticize things, right? If you actually are just looking at the decorations in the house, they're not terrible. I mean, it's just a style, right? And, so a lot of people are comparing it to when Melania Trump did the White House. And here's a 1-minute video on hers. And it's a different style. Okay, let's show this one. I don't think it's that bad. I just don't. Here's Melania Trump's White House, the one she did that looked good, because the one year it looked like some Space Odyssey shit. But this one was actually I thought this year that she showed it was very good. Here it is. That's beautiful. That's really cool. And this is the hallway with all the white lights and stuff. That's very good. Nice. I love this hallway. A little more religious. Nice tree. And I love this tree, man. This is cool. That's a big ass tree too. All right, so they're just different styles. I honestly, except for the strange choice of presentation, which is just different. It's easy to criticize things, but it wasn't terrible. That's my personal opinion. This year looks like a high school production. Oh, the one that, yeah, it looks like a musical, like someone was doing a musical, okay? And it's whatever. But the idea that they had to spend a ton of money to do that. But, again, remember. Oh, let's see, Dorrance Dance, the New York City-based dance company that performed the atrocious version of the Nutcracker Suite in the White House, as a full page on their site dedicated to teaching white people to check their privilege. They also, oh my God. Okay, here's why, maybe why this troop did it, because it's they have guys who apparently, whatever, gay men or something. Here's a background. Dorrance Dance Troupe, the New York City-based dance company that performed the atrocious version of the Nutcracker Suite. Look, it was not an atrocious version of the Nutcracker Suite. It was just, they did a variation on the Nutcracker using a jazz version of it and did a dance routine to it. It may not be your style, but it wasn't atrocious. I think this is one of those things where we start playing teams on shit like this, and and we're so entrenched in how we want to see things that we see things that aren't bad as bad just because it's the Joe Biden White House. It's just a different presentation. If you went to a musical theater production of a jazz version of the Nutcracker that had that same dancing, you wouldn't think twice about it. So, gender fluid dance company, yeah, that too. I mean, maybe that's part of it, but as far as the actual decorations of the house, I thought they looked fine. Okay, they have a full-page ad on the site dedicated to teaching white people to check their privilege. They also state to, quote, be mindful of who, what is financially supporting the candidates you vote for. Yeah, they're clearly a political dance troupe, while linking site visitors to BLM and SURJ, an organization dedicated to organizing white people for racist justice. Oh my God. That's why they chose that dance troupe. The Biden administration is intent on driving a wedge between the American people is quite literally all they can think about. True. Perhaps if these topics were not the number one priority and a distraction for Dorrance Dance, their performance could have been less embarrassing and more artful. Look, you're trying to do a jazz tap dance version of the Nutcracker Suite. I don't know that it wasn't artful. It may not be your type of art, but it was just fine. But again, the fact that the dance troupe has a political statement as part of their mission is annoying as fuck. And FTG to the Dorrance Dance Troupe for their mission statement, but their performance was what it was. It's just, whatever. Can I get a refund on my portion of this? Let's move on, because that was 3 topics in one, and I'm not going back to. I mean, look, basically, some people are so tacky. How utterly tacky, tasteless, and anti-Christmas. Millennials was tasteful, seasonal, appealed to everyone, was absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous. It didn't appeal to everybody. People bitched about it. People on the left bitched about Melania Trump's White House decorations. Oh, so white and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not playing teams here. The White House decorations were fine. The dance troupe thing was what it was. It's just a different style. I don't care. We're done. Done with this topic. Moving on. Also trending, In-N-Out Burger. Apparently, Idaho has opened its first In-N-Out Burger. One of my favorite, by the way, one of my favorite fast food restaurants on the planet. But they don't have them here in Minnesota. But the In-N-Out Burger, Idaho, I think it was in Boise, perhaps, I'm guessing. Apparently, the line at the drive-thru was reportedly 8 hours. People waited 8 hours. You probably run out of gas waiting for an In-N-Out Burger in Idaho. So it was more, instead of In-N-Out, it was absolutely sit and wait. Look at that. They have 5. Oh my gosh, they had 5-6 lines going for their drive-thru. So there you go. And I don't know why I like In-N-Out burgers. When I go to California or Las Vegas, whatever, I always make a point to have at least one In-N-Out burger. I think they're really good. Nice, fresh. They use fresh ground beef, and the burger's always nice and juicy, just at medium well, and just the good toppings, whatever. So yeah, FTG 8-hour burger. Yeah, FTG for the 8 hours. I'm not waiting. Good morning, those ain't real, dude. Welcome to the show. All right, now. Here's the man of the day, and this is the one where I saw it this morning. I'm like, why the bloody hell is this man trending? And that would be Mr. Paul Ryan. And before I even before those words even finished coming through my thoughts, I knew exactly why Paul Ryan was trending without even looking. And when I clicked, I was right, because one of the easiest ways to trend on Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or whatever social media you're on, one of the easiest ways for a Republican in particular, a former Republican or whatever, to trend is to be very critical of none other than the guy with the funny hair, Donald John Trump. And I was right. But there's another reason why he's trending. Now, first of all, let's see, as I scroll through here, one of the things that was trending, it said, let's see. Paul Ryan, who's just seen with House Speaker. Oh, because he was also seen with House Speaker Mike Johnson. And that was the other problem. People saw Paul Ryan with Mike Johnson. Here, breaking. Paul Ryan announces he will skip the Republican National Convention if Donald Trump is the GOP nominee. Well, that's good news. Because nobody wants this dried up neocon bitch. But anyway, let me just go through some of the reasons people are talking about Paul Ryan, okay? The top here from Gateway Pundit: the useless former Speaker Paul Ryan bashes Trump as an authoritarian and praises rhinos Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney. So there you go. That's the number one reason he's trending. All the Democrats are talking about him. Peter Navarro, MAGA enemy number one, Paul Ryan sold his soul to the Fox News devil. He's the architect of the cancel culture at Fox. Go Brandon, go Paul. Laura Loomer, the Trump, I don't know if she's an official spokesman. Is she? She talks about Trump a lot. She's big time on Donald Trump. Looks like I was right about Mike Johnson. I trashed him from day one because that's what he is, trash. Glad you all found out today as well. What do you call someone who hangs out with Paul Ryan? Trash. And then let's see, what's the show more here? So happy I think for myself, unlike so many others, right? So anyway, I don't know why he was with Paul Ryan. You don't know. Maybe he was getting some advice, and which I don't necessarily want Paul Ryan giving anybody advice in the Republican Party. But who knows? They're walking down the stairs together, okay? Someone here, I'm really starting to question if Johnson was the right choice to be the new speaker. All I want to know is what the fuck is he doing with this guy? This guy Johnson's with is no bueno. He's a warmongering neocon, a real piece of shit politician. Yeah. So someone here, conservatives are in full panic mode after learning Speaker Johnson met with Paul Ryan at the Capitol. Innocent meat or a sign of betrayal? What do you think? Yes, Laura Lunatic. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Laura Loomer. I'm just like, why are we she a surrogate for Donald Trump? That just scares the shit out of me. Anyway, so there's a story in The Hill right here. And of course, The Hill writes this article about Paul Ryan, former Speaker Paul Ryan. Trump's not a conservative. He's an authoritarian narcissist. And of course, this is what everyone's talking about. Former Speaker Paul Ryan from Wisconsin, who headed the Republican House,
You know the thing.
Former Speaker Paul Ryan, who headed the Republican House majority during former President Trump's first 2 years in office, says Trump is not a conservative, but instead an authoritarian narcissist whose guiding principle is to aggrandize himself. Except for the authoritarian part? Okay. Yes, he's a narcissist whose guiding principle is to aggrandize himself. Yes, he's a jackass. And sometimes you need a jackass in that office. And I'm more than happy to have that jackass back in office. Ryan defended. Now, this is the part that, got me, is going to get your goat. Ryan defended former Republican Representatives Liz Cheney, sort of Republican of Wyoming, and Adam Kinzinger, sort of Republican from Illinois, for standing up to Trump, and said many Republican lawmakers probably not regret not voting for impeachment charges. and missing their chance to remove him from the political stage. Well, no, here's the problem. An impeached president could still run for president again. Did you know that? That's not just because you've been impeached doesn't mean you can't there's no rule that says you can't run again and be elected. And he continues, Trump's not a conservative. He's an authoritarian narcissist. So I think they basically called him out for that. Ryan told whoever, TNEO Political Risk Advisory co-president Kevin Kajiwara during a video conference interview when asked about Cheney and Kinzinger. Fuck Cheney and Kinzinger. Ryan said Trump is a populist authoritarian narcissist. Historically speaking, all of his tendencies are basically where narcissism takes him, except for the fact that, which is whatever makes him popular, makes him feel good at any given moment. Well, no, because if he wanted anything to make him feel good at any given moment, he would pander to Democrats and to the media. It's just the opposite. No, he would want the media to love him, and he never tried to get the media to love him. In fact, he fought with the media and called them fake news and whatever else he called them. So really, if he's that much of a narcissist who would do whatever to make him feel good, he would do whatever all the pundits and all the people who shower you with praise, that are right now sucking Joe Biden's old shriveled up thing. He would have done that, but obviously he doesn't care about that. Yes, he has his rallies, the people who love him, whatever. But look, then he continues. He thinks in an authoritarian way, and he's been able to get a big chunk of the Republican base to follow him because he's a culture warrior. Paul, if there's issues in the culture that you got to deal with, that's what you deal with. Ryan said Cheney and Kinzinger stepped out of the flow of many other Republicans falling into lockstep with Trump and called it out. Well, lockstep, except for you. You're the one who derailed most of the wall funding. You're the one who derailed his agenda, which was a Republican agenda. But because you didn't like him, you didn't bring the bills to the floor or whatever. You didn't get the votes when you had the majority. You dipshit. Everything that he did get done, in spite of you, was pretty traditional Republican stuff. So the results, despite you, were pretty good for the first 3 years. So whatever. Enough about it. I don't even want to read the rest of it because FTG Paul Ryan, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm fine with that. Moving on. Speaker Johnson's also trending because of the fact that he met with Paul Ryan. Here's one. By the way, someone has this message for Speaker Johnson as far as why we can't stand Paul Ryan. When Trump won in 2016, he was elected with a mandate to build a wall. Paul Ryan did all he could to stop that, and he helped us lose our House majority in 2018. He's a backstabbing rhino. Here it is.
What I would like to know was there one point where there was one moment when you said, this is the guy, this is my guy.
On August 1st, it was time to make that final decision. I called Paul and said, I'd like to meet you on Sunday. And we sat down and made it happen. This is a guy who's a real leader. Well, I mean, Paul could become, if it were necessary, could become president. He has the experience and judgment, capacity, to become president. That was the first and most important criteria.
Congressman, what will be your role in the campaign? Are you going to be the attack dog?
You're going to help him win this race.
Many unbearable hours later.
1 week ago, millions of Americans saw his name on the ballot running for Vice President of the United States.
What? That was with Mitt Romney. I don't know why he put this clip up. Oh, maybe you can watch it yourself. I'm not even going to do this. I don't want to see his face anymore. I'm done. Moving on, Michelle Wu is trending. Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, has been busted. Apparently, Michelle Wu, the Boston mayor's office, has had to apologize after electeds of color party invite was sent to the white people on the council. Now, if you didn't understand what I just said, Mayor Michelle Wu's Director of City Council Relations, Denise Dos Santos, sent an email Tuesday for a party following the following day meant for 6 minority city councilors, but instead invited all 13 members of the council. Minutes later, Dos Santos, a black woman from Cape Verde, apologized for the confusion in a follow-up email. Quote, I want to apologize for my previous email regarding a holiday party for tomorrow, Dos Santos wrote, according to the Boston Herald. I did send that to everyone by accident, and I apologize if my email may have offended or came across as so. Sorry for any confusion this may have caused. Now, that doesn't necessarily explain it that well. So what happened? It was an email from the office of Boston Mayor Michelle Wu inviting the councilman to a no whites Christmas party. And Michelle Wu, who is of Asian descent, but a proud American, only wanted the non-white people at a Christmas party. The white people. Now, why would the mayor do this? And this is Greta Van Susteren, who usually, I didn't even have it on the picture. Here's Greta Van Susteren. Why would this mayor do this? No whites. She's a public employee. Who's paying for this? Boston Democrat Mayor Michelle Wu defends no whites holiday party she's hosting for electeds of color as a taxpayer-funded city reception. Oh my gosh. Let's read the article. I wasn't going to, but Boston Democrat Mayor Michelle Wu defends no whites holiday party. Okay. Boston mayor held a segregated holiday party for electeds of color. That's not even a thing. Electeds of color. Oh my gosh.
You're fucking a white male.
Wednesday night, paid for by the city, and defended the gathering and insisted there would be plenty more times when people of all races to get together. Yes, we'll have other times when all of the whiteys can come too. Oh my God. Michelle Wu's party was controversial from the start as invites were emailed to all 13 members of the city council, only for them to be rescinded from the 7 white councilors 15 minutes later. Wu on Wednesday afternoon, shortly before the party, was asked if she thought the gathering was divisive. Well, at least it was diverse, except for white people. And the mayor replied, no. She said there were other opportunities for people to celebrate together, but insisted the electeds of color party was an appropriate way to celebrate identity and culture and heritage in her city. Now, here's the problem, though. The electeds of color are like a bunch of different races. So here's the pictures of the entire city council. There are 7 white people and 6 of color. What do you mean it's 6 of color? What does that even? No. And which are the 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who are the other 2? Because the other ones all look like white people too. Maybe it's this guy, and maybe it's him, or could it be her? Who's the other of color? Oh wait, this is the councilwoman Tania Fernandez Anderson defended Wu, saying, just like there are groups that meet based on shared interest or cultural background, it's completely natural for elected officials of color to gather for a holiday celebration. It'll be in the links. I'm moving on. Okay. These motherfuckers. Parties make me uncomfortable. They're just a bunch of dumbasses. Okay, here's some shitty news from Congress. Speaker Mike Johnson is about to hold a vote glomming renewal of FISA 702 warrantless searches onto the massive annual NDAA bill. Oddly, Kevin McCarthy was supposedly ousted for failing to hold separate votes on separate bills, but Johnson isn't even pretending to do so. Today, and Thomas Massey, today Congress will vote to reauthorize with no reforms the FISA 702 surveillance program that has been used illegally to invade Americans' privacy hundreds of thousands of times. If 1/3 of the House votes against this, we can stop it. I will post the roll call after the vote. Apparently tonight, 35 senators stood up to the FISA cult. We need 6 more, but too many trusted the FISA cult. The FISA cult, like government, should never be trusted. We're not going away. That's Senator Mike, or is that? Oh, that's based Mike Lee. That's not even. Is that actually Mike Lee? Senator Mike Lee's? Yes, he's the U.S. Senator from Utah. The Fourth Amendment prescribes requirements for search warrants. Those requirements are not met under FISA 702, not even close. And that's fine for spying on foreign adversaries, but not Americans. And this is the one that was used against Donald Trump. So Justin Amash, the Senate has once again betrayed the American people, trampling on the Constitution and our rights in bipartisan fashion. The first 2 images list the senators who voted yay to keep the unconstitutional warrant surveillance of Americans via FISA 702 in the National Defense Authorization Bill. Okay, FTG to all of them. Oh my God. And Kim Iverson, who's driving me crazy lately with her anti-Israel shit, but she's right here. FISA 702 is up for renewal. Of course, whenever we give them the ability to spy on somebody else, what do they end up doing? They spy on us. Yes, that's exactly. So FTG to all of those, anyone who voted for that shit. Norbit is trending, I think just because, well, no, I know. Norbit, another Eddie Murphy movie, was trending, a movie that was never funny. And the reason it's trending is because somebody put up this graphic, this or that, what are y'all picking? Between Norbit and White Chicks, it's not even close. Apparently, everyone's voting for White Chicks. And it's because White Chicks is kind of funny and Norbit was really... Even, I mean, a lot of people are bitching because, oh, Norbit was fat phobic, where he played both Norbit and the fat woman, but everyone's picking White Chicks, so that's why Norbit's trending. Let's see, is there anything else? MAGA Republicans is trending, and probably because of what Hunter Biden did. So Hunter Biden was supposed to testify before Congress yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? One of the days. It must have been yesterday. And he was under subpoena to testify. He was going to do a deposition behind closed doors. And he came out and did a little grandstanding speech talking about how, he was a family man and this and that. And he wants it to be public, whatever, even though it is a closed door deposition. You can have the public hearing later, but the deposition you do behind closed doors. It's not an interview, it's a deposition. So anyway, Hunter Biden talking about how horrible MAGA Republicans are and how shameful it was what was being done to his family, while half of us have videos of him screwing strippers and doing cocaine on our phones. Is honestly hilarious because but let's see, MAGA Republicans did not impugn Hunter Biden's character. Hunter Biden did that to himself. Yeah, let's, you know what? I want to watch this, but we got so many things to do. You got to watch this though, because he's talking about being a family man, the legitimate daughter in Arkansas and all this other shit, and basically telling how terrible MAGA Republicans are. Meanwhile, there's pictures of him doing some really nasty shit on the internet. So anyway, good morning, number one. Nice to see you. Oh, and Zed Snarky's in the house. I didn't see you there before. Am I missing anyone else? Anna Lynn was here. Amazing Disgrace. I already said Amazing Disgrace earlier. Welcome everybody who's here. And nice to see you. And Sully over on Rumble. Nice to see you. All right. Other things trending. Russian collusion's trending. Oh my God. Scott Adams. Top 7 hoaxes that shaped modern America. Fine people hoax, drinking bleach hoax, Russian collusion hoax. January 6th was an insurrection. Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. Shadow banning isn't real. And climate models predict the future. All things that are possibly false. But is that why Russian collusion is trending? Oh, there's an article in the Federalist. To the people that brought you the Russian collusion hoax, the Ukraine impeachment hoax, the Fine People hoax, the Kavanaugh rape hoax, the Covington hoax, and COVID-19 origin hoax, are all big mad that Alex Jones is back on Twitter. That's pretty good. That's funny. But yeah, MAGA Republicans, Russian. Why is Russian collusion trending? I don't even know. Lots of people talking about it, though. Let's see. What's your point? Unlike liberals, conservative media will stop talking about an incident once it's proven to be untrue. You leftist turds are still pushing the COVID lie, for God's sake. You're still claiming Trump colluded with Russia to rig an election. Yeah, because the only person who actually colluded or had a Russian contact in that was, of course, Hillary Clinton. So I don't know why it's trending. Who cares? And then finally, this is just a tweet that just got me going when I saw it. And this is, it's clearly, someone said very appropriately, let the PR games begin. Embattled Harvard president Claudine Gay attends menorah lighting after widespread anti-Semitism backlash. Well, at least she doesn't have anything to plagiarize while she's at the menorah lighting. If you want to read the New York Post article, I'll put in the links. It's kind of funny here. Embattled Harvard president Claudine Gay attended a campus menorah lighting Wednesday, a day after it emerged she was retaining her job at the Ivy League school despite widespread anti-Semitism backlash. The under fire president was among roughly 100 people to gather at the daily lighting ceremony organized by Harvard Chabad at the campus's Harvard Park. Gay, who attended alongside her colleague Professor Jeff Buzzgang, was spotted lighting the first candle. Despite a slew of anti-Israel protests being held on campus of late, the lighting went ahead calmly without any interruptions. Well, that's amazing. I think they got the word at Harvard. Do not protest this menorah lighting, or you will look as anti-Semitic as you might be. So, a little PR work for President Gay. In Front Page magazine, apparently Hamas operatives are surrendering in large numbers over in Israel. We're updating the war over there. They know Israelis won't treat them the way they would treat Israelis who surrendered anyway. Not every member of Hamas wants to be a martyr. They've seen how valiantly the IDF fights, relentlessly hunting them down in the north of Gaza. Now, this is a very pro-Israel site, Front Page, by the way. I think it's is it Horowitz who runs this one? I can't remember who runs this one, but it's but they're also very pro-Israel, so the language is going to be flowery. And I don't have a really neutral source, but as you've seen, there have been lots of the Hamas fighters have been surrendering, including some that were involved in October 7th. And so, however, that's working. And also, all this stuff I have to click on. Also, Israel preps a mighty enema for Hamas. They're going to flood the tunnels, the tunnel network. Israel has begun a process of flooding the network of tunnels beneath Gaza in an effort to flush out the impacted Hamas assets lodged there, according to the U.S. officials who spoke to the Wall Street Journal. The Israeli military operation has so far involved the installation of 7 massive pumps and testing the process of flooding the Hamas holes with water from the Mediterranean Sea, and now the great enema has begun in earnest. So they're gonna flood those tunnels. They were using foam to get people stuck in there. Now they're gonna flood the tunnels. That Hamas has spent all the aid that comes in from around the world to build. Then the other half they spend on rockets, but whatever. In Breitbart, apparently Joe Biden kind of stepped in it, claiming that Israel was doing indiscriminate bombing. Well, the national security aide John Kirby has tried to clean up President Joe Biden's claim that Israel is engaged in indiscriminate bombing, telling reporters Wednesday that Biden was expressing concern about civilian casualties in general. Kirby faced a barrage of questions from journalists about Biden's statement made to wealthy donors behind closed doors in Washington, D.C., just hours after he had expressed public solidarity with Israel at the annual White House Hanukkah party. Biden's claim was picked up immediately by anti-Israeli groups and foreign media. Israel has pushed back hard against Biden's claim, telling reporters in at least 2 press conferences that it takes every possible step to avoid Palestinian civilian casualties. Journalists asked Kirby whether Biden believed Israel engaged in indiscriminate bombing, the U.S. would apply new restrictions on the use of American military aid, or whether the administration believed Israel had engaged in war crimes. Kirby tried to defuse the inquiries, claiming that Biden had simply been worried about the effect of civilian casualties on Israel's image in the world. Yes, that's all he thought. He wasn't listening to the propaganda from anyone else. Good morning, Nomad.
Stop. Hammer time.
So, in the Federalist, Biden's Palestine prioritization betrays his pro-Israel facade. Now, this is interesting. An interesting article in the Federalist here, saying it does not matter if Biden had previously acknowledged the attacks as terrorism. He does not believe Israel has the right to defend itself, and that's where this, when he said indiscriminate bombing, that's what people are starting to listen to. The Biden administration is, and in this, according to this, now I don't think this is true. I don't think they're abandoning Israel, but you got to listen to what they say. And so in this article that starts out, the Biden administration is abandoning Israel. This is more than an attempt to play both sides of the conflict, and the suggestion that the White House is only softening its support is wishful thinking. President Biden is turning up the public pressure for Israel to accept a ceasefire and abandon its goal of eradicating Hamas. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also seemingly forgotten his visit to the massacred southern border towns, warning Israel that they are already running out of credit in the war against Hamas. So you got the Secretary of State telling them one thing, but then you got John Kirby coming out and saying, well, no, we are still supporting Israel. We don't think they're doing indiscriminate bombing. They're playing both sides of the fence. And the fact that they're sending aid to both sides, they're sending, of course they say it's humanitarian aid to Gaza, right? And they're sending military aid to Israel. How about just not either? Israel can take care of itself. They're one of the strongest nations and militaries in the world. And, Hamas needs to, I don't know, they need to figure out how to protect people instead of always looking for ways to kill Jews. And that's my 2 cents on that. Moving on. Free Beacon. They're so cruel how October 7th destroyed an Israeli peace activist's faith in the Palestinians. A lot of these peace activists, not all of them, because most are still, still totally pro-Palestine, as if Palestine was a country before Israel was put there. Irit Lahav, 68, was a peace activist who believed in the decency of the Palestinian people. Then on October 7th, ordinary Gazans joined in a terrorist attack that left more than 1 in 4 of her neighbors in kibbutz Nir Oz dead or abducted. For many members of Nir Oz and other Israelis, the atrocities of October 7th, and particularly the broad participation of the Gazan public in the day, destroyed their faith in coexistence with the Palestinians. So it's an article just basically that some of these people who lived in this area were peace activists, thinking that just the normal Palestinian people would be, wouldn't do this kind of thing. And yet 16 is too old to be stupid. Holy shit. Lord Stanhope, that's rough, man. So Lahav, a manager with the travel company, long participated in peace demonstrations. In recent years, she volunteered for an Israeli charity called Road to Recovery, driving Palestinian children from the border of the Gaza Strip, less than 2 miles from her home, to Israeli hospitals for life-saving medical care. We thought that Palestinians are good people. All they want is peace and prosperity, Lahav told the Washington Free Beacon in an interview from a hotel in this Red Sea resort city, where she and most of her community were temporarily relocated. It's just that Hamas is forcing them to be in this aggressive situation. When terrorists first shook the door of her safe room in October 7th, Lahav was sure that she and her 22-year-old daughter were about to be killed, but a makeshift lock she had fashioned out of an oar and a vacuum cleaner. Wow, she's like MacGyver. A makeshift lock she had fashioned out of an oar and a vacuum cleaner thwarted 3 separate break-in attempts. The women lay in the darkened room for about 10 hours, listening to sounds of automatic gunfire and grenade explosions. At one point, they heard a group of teenagers robbing their house. Later, Lahav learned from other Nir Oz survivors that Gazan women and children as young as 10-year-old had followed Hamas terrorists into the kibbutz, looting, helping the armed terrorists, and apparently enjoying themselves. So long story short, a lot of the peace activists are losing faith in their ability to believe that their Gazan neighbors are also peaceful. And probably because there's a little bit of indoctrination going on over there. And I'm sure, if you ask people who are anti-Israel, saying the same thing about the Israelis, but only one of the 2 areas have multicultural democratic societies, because there's no Jews in Gaza, but there are definitely Muslims, Christians, Arabs, all different races in Israel. So, I always get the whole apartheid thing that people talk about all the time. Yes, I understand that the Palestinians that have a Roman name for whatever the people from that region, because of course they would, how they say it's an apartheid, but is there a reason that this so-called apartheid has developed over the years? There's a reason when they wanted to have a two-state solution. Is there a reason why they might be separate? I struggle with the whole thing. And the more I learn about it, there's certainly some things that are not good about what Israel does. But I just say, and then you think of, well, how did that develop? How did the PLO shape what's going on in Israel now with their terrorist attacks back in the day? So it's a tough situation, but I still have an affinity for one side over the other, just because, you're more likely to be dead if the other side had all the guns. All right, in Breitbart, radical pro-Palestinian leftists shut down LA's 110 freeway, and they arrested 75 people. Police arrested 75 people for blocking Interstate 110 in Los Angeles on Wednesday as part of a pro-Palestinian protest demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Yes, because the best way to get a ceasefire in Gaza is to block the LA freeway. That's a brilliant idea, and I'm sure they got a little bit of the freedom in Gaza over because the LA freeway was shut down for a while. One that would leave Hamas terror group in power with over 100 civilian hostages. Okay, that's it. Dozens of protesters calling for a ceasefire in Gaza amid the Israel-Hamas war halted traffic for close to 2 hours on the 110 freeway. Any freeway in Los Angeles being shut down for that long would be a freaking nightmare. Where did this idea of fucking up people's day make you think that they're going to be on your side when the whole thing's over? I just don't get it. Anyway, they arrested 75 people. There's the full story there. And also in the Free Beacon, there's apparently a congressman probes White House communications with an anti-Israel group. Republican in Congress is probing the Biden administration's communication with an anti-Israel group that is known to promulgate anti-Semitic propaganda and whose leader celebrated Hamas's October 7th terror attack in Israel, the Washington Free Beacon has learned. Representative Darrell Issa of California, a member of the House Foreign Affairs and Judiciary Committee, opened a probe earlier this week into the White House's relationship with the Council on American Islamic Relations. That's CARE, of course, asking the White House to turn over all internal correspondence with the group. The Biden administration enlisted CARE earlier this year as part of its efforts to combat anti-Semitism, an alliance that drew criticism from pro-Israel groups. They say CARE is one of the leading purveyors of anti-Israel agitprop. CARE Executive Director Nihad Awad drew a firestorm of criticism last week after saying he was happy to see Hamas break the siege on October 7th, leading the White House to delete mentions of CARE from its national strategy to combat anti-Semitism. Yeah, that's probably not the best group to combat anti-Semitism. And so I don't care if Darrell Issa gets the information he wants, because the White House is not going to give it to him anyway. But it's interesting that he's doing that. So good for him. And then also Biden's historic Muslim judicial nominee served on the board of an anti-Israel terror-loving think tank. What? I get concerned when they use headlines like this. They maybe just give us the facts and let us decide if they're an anti-Israel terrorist-loving think tank. Because it might be a little more nuanced than that. I'm just saying. But President Biden's historic nominee for a federal appellate court served on the board of a Muslim advocacy group that has blamed Israel for provoking Hamas's terror attack and hosted an event with a convicted terrorist fundraiser on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Oh, God. Adil Abdullah Mangi, Biden's nominee for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, served on the advisory board of Rutgers Law School's Center for Security, Race, and Rights from 2019 until... Wait! What? What is the name of this group? Hello, Cannibalistic Wizard. What? Rutgers Law School Center for Security, Race, and Rights. From 2019 until earlier this year, during his time on the board, the think tank feted anti-Israel college students and marked the anniversary of the September 11 attacks with an event featuring a terrorist fundraiser. If confirmed, Maggie will be the first Muslim to serve on the federal appellate court, a fact highlighted by Democrats. Well, yes, they're just excited to have the first this and that's of everything, because that's their only goal, is to pretend that they really give a shit about you, and so that's why they do it. Let's see, highlighted by Democrats at Mangi's confirmation hearing on Wednesday. Senator Robert Menendez, shitbag from New Jersey, who faces federal bribery and foreign agent charges, called the nomination of a Muslim to the prestigious judicial post a milestone we should have reached many years ago. Well, why? Are there a lot of Muslim judges in the court systems, or is it you just want to promote one up just to have one, or why is it a milestone we should have reached many years ago? But Mangi's affiliation with a staunchly anti-Israel think tank could prove to be a roadblock for that historic nomination. Well, guess they'll have to ask him some very pointed questions, okay? Also, the Washington Free Beacon, Jewish Congressman Max Miller confronted by anti-Semitic House staffer? What? An anti-Semitic House staffer on Wednesday confronted Jewish Congressman Max Miller in the halls of the Cannon office building to say, quote, "Free Palestine." For the Ohio Republican, a staunch Israel supporter, it's the sort of exchange that happens every day. Okay, look. I'm going to point this out. Just because not everyone who says Free Palestine is necessarily anti-Semitic. I'm going to say it because I look, and wow, but they very well could be. But just because they said Free Palestine, because there's a lot of idiots out there saying Free Palestine just because they think it's the trendy thing to do. In fact, did a poll of college students, okay, who have been doing the protests and these, saying the phrase "from the river to the sea," okay, at these protests, and so they polled a bunch of college students who's been protesting on behalf of Palestine, and they asked them. Here's what they asked them. This is almost funny. They asked these college students, when you say "from the river to the sea," what river and what sea are you talking about? And only about 45% of them knew that it was the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, both sides of it, right? And when they're talking about supporting Palestine and whatever, Israel, and when they showed them a map of the area explaining what river and what sea and what was in between the river and the sea, when they figured out that Israel is within those boundaries, I don't remember what they reported on how many dropped their decision to chant that, but a bunch of them did, because they didn't know that from the river to the sea meant the complete dismantling of Israel. They just thought, oh, it just sounds like a cool chant. So when they say someone said "Free Palestine" to Max Miller, the Ohio Republican, a staunch Israeli supporter, I don't automatically think in my head that it is an anti-Semitic House staffer. Because I don't know if just a purely anti-Semitic House staffer, someone who necessarily hates Jews, would be a House staffer, for one. And of course they might, if they might, be a clerk or a page for, I don't know, Rashida Tlaib or whatever. But you know what I mean? So I don't like when they, I don't like when they write that way. I don't know that that's a fair assessment. It's a very strong possibility, but it's not necessarily. How could they make that rhyme though? Oh no! When they the saying is, "From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free." That's how they make it rhyme. But a lot of these dummies don't even know what river. They don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know what river and what sea they're even talking about, which is I find that typical. Okay. But anyway, so this person, the House snapshot from the Halls of the Hill, a House staffer just passed by Representative Max Miller, who is Jewish and has been supportive of sending aid to Israel, and said, "Free Palestine." Pretty rare and stunning to see staff challenge members in their faces that way. Yeah, that's the part that I don't get. You know, you staffers at the White House, you're a dime a dozen. There's lots of people who want to be staffers at the White House. And so if you get up into a congressman's face, and do some shit like that, that's pretty much, you probably get fired. All right. I gotta go faster now because I'm out of time. Breitbart, House votes to formalize impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. House of Representatives on Wednesday voted to formalize the impeachment inquiry. Now, not the impeachment, just the investigation into the idea of impeachment. And they're going to be looking at all this stuff that they've been finding and whatnot. And, you know, Hunter Biden didn't help him by not testifying before Congress. But he's said Hunter Biden, by the way, Hunter Biden, his voice when he was talking in that little presser that I didn't play, I listened to it last night. He sounds like young Joe Biden. I mean, his voice is almost exactly like his dad's. It's kind of weird. And not now because, you know, Sundowner Joe sounds a lot different than, you know, 40-year-old Joe did. Anyway, they formally adopted status that will enable House investigators to enforce subpoenas and gather evidence about whether the president is compromised and traded official acts for foreign dollars, according to House Speaker Mike Johnson. So that has moved forward just barely. Is there a vote? What was the vote count? Let's see. It doesn't show, but Democrats voted to block and oppose the resolutions adoption. So anyway, here it is. The White House failed to provide investigators information about two loan agreements between Joe Biden, allegedly executed with James Biden for a total of $240,000. 99.8% of the restored records from President Joe Biden, including aliens. Okay, that's just the White House failed to provide investigators these things. Apparently, they're looking for those things. Anyway, I don't care. You can read the article yourself. All right, Daily Caller. Big news of the morning. Jim Jordan points to 6 words from Hunter that represent a huge change. And this is something that when he was saying, again, you know how they were saying Joe Biden originally said, well, I've never never met with any of my son's business partners. Then they got pictures of him meeting with his son's business partner. Well, I never was ever involved with the business, whatever. Here it is. Representative Ohio Jim Jordan said 6 words that Hunter Biden told reporters on Wednesday represented a huge change in the ongoing impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. Hunter defied Republican subpoena for closed-door testimony on Wednesday, saying he would only testify publicly. House Republicans have threatened to hold Hunter in contempt of Congress. Jordan briefly spoke with reporters on Capitol Hill after Hunter's defiance. Here? I just want to tell you about the 6 words. I want to skip to it. 1 hour ago, I think the biggest takeaway was the statement from Mr. Biden where he said, quote, "My father was not financially involved in the business." That is a huge change, which sort of means he is involved. I think that's how anyone with a common sense would read it. He has been involved not just financially, Jordan continued, but that it's also a huge departure for everything they have said for the last 3.5 years. The White House story has changed multiple times. The Justice Department story changed multiple times, how they handled the investigation, but the story that hasn't changed, the testimony that has been consistent and stood up to cross-examination, is the 2 whistleblowers. Their story has not changed, and frankly, it's been buttressed and reinforced. So there you go. Thank you, Jimmy Dawes Hotep. Oops, I hit the wrong button. It said, happy Thursday morning night, fam. Went to jiu-jitsu today, and we'll catch the replay. Well, thank you, Jimmy Dawes Hotep, and appreciate it. And by the way, that makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Yay! Thank you, Jimmy Dawes Hotep. It's easy when you're the only one. Here, let's put you on this board here. There we go. Okay. So other articles I got to, oh my God. Oh, it's only 10:34. Okay, we're good. Miranda Devine article in the New York Post, Hunter Biden conduct the hot seat all he wants, but not the facts. Yeah, you can read that one. In Breitbart, Jamie Raskin, I was going to say the Q-tip dude with the fish eyes, but he has cancer, so I'll be nice. He's just a dick. Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland Wednesday on MSNBC said that the Republican-led House voting to open an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden was making a mockery of the Constitution. You fuzzy-haired bitch. You weren't you on that January 6th committee? Weren't you part of the impeachments of Donald Trump that really just were bullshit? Come on now. He said they've got nothing else to do. There's literally no legislative program. They just want to cut off the people of Ukraine. They are not interested in humanitarian assistance to Ukraine or to the people of Gaza or to help people in Israel. None of it. They are not interested in any of it. It's all about getting that much back into power. So I agree with you. I am surprised because their investigation is so patently fraudulent and meritless, and they don't care. How is it fraudulent? They've got bank records of Joe Biden getting checks right after his brother and his son got paid. The one said it was he was paying his dad for a car loan, but it was paid out of a company, a business entity. So in the very least, there's fraud or embezzlement or something. Hunter Biden taking money out of the business entity to pay directly to his dad for a supposed personal car loan. What are you talking about? That alone is questionable. And so the idea that they're going to do an inquiry onto it and try to get more information and get some depositions, that's their job, okay? And he also said, he's saying that they're just retaliating for impeaching Trump. Well, Joe Biden is not a good candidate. And Joe Biden, I think everyone knows that. And I think that the intelligence agencies that have been coddling him and coddling Hunter Biden, and the intelligence people who wrote letters saying the laptop was fake, and the entire media who's full court pressing against anything the Republicans do, maybe because they see the smoke, and where there's smoke, there's Hunter Biden's crack pipe. So there you go. PJ Media. Joe Biden's relationship with Joe Biden's relationship with Merrick Garland is souring, though. Now, this again, I'm saying drip, 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 right? And I think this is all planned. Joe Biden thinks that if he hadn't run for president, Hunter Biden's current legal problems would never have happened, and he's a little ticked off about that. In private, no issue is more likely to anger or sadden President Biden than attacks on his son Hunter, according to people close to the president who have seen him in his mood shift when there's bad news about his son. The 81-year-old president suggested to two close associates that if he had run in 2020, Hunter wouldn't be facing criminal prosecutions or be the target of daily stories by conservative media, all while trying to stay sober and rebuild his life. Well, big guy, maybe some of that ire is directed at you and your 10%. The report also says the ongoing criminal investigation into Hunter Biden have put a strain on Biden's relationship with Attorney General Merrick Garland. Joe must have expected Garland to do a better job protecting Hunter, and perhaps that was a reasonable expectation. So, anyway, think about it. Barack Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder, who infamously referred to himself as Obama's wingman, went to extraordinary lengths to protect Obama from oversight and accountability, which they did a pretty good job. Dozens of inspectors generals accused the administration of obstructing investigations. Surely Biden must have expected that Garland would be his wingman as well and would protect him from his troubled son from oversight and accountability. You can only protect so much when the evidence is all there. So, good. That relationship is souring. In the Daily Caller, Oh, it says judge hands Trump major victory in 2020 election case. Obama appointed District Judge Tanya Chutkan paused former President Donald Trump's 2020 election trial schedule while the appeal for his presidential immunity claim is pending. Early December, Chutkan rejected Trump's bid to have the case dismissed based on presidential immunity, prompting Trump to appeal to the D.C. Circuit of Court of Appeals. Chutkan agreed Wednesday to pause pretrial deadlines and further proceedings pending the appeals court decision. The pause could throw special counsel Jack Smith's targeted March 4th trial date into jeopardy and increase the chance that the former president is not put on trial until after November 2024, when there is a presidential election. So she put a hold on it, waiting for the appeals case. It's good because Jack was just trying to get this done before an election, because that's all he cares about is interfering with the election. And so they tried to use this ploy to get Trump to the Supreme Court. We talked about that already. And apparently the Supreme Court is going to hear a challenge to the obstruction charge case with implications for Trump. There's an article there about that. New York Post, Congress wants to unleash federal spies in your hotel and coffee shop. Yeah, that's they're re-upping the FISA warrant. We won't go through that. And then also Boston Mayor Wu defends elected of color holiday party after invitation backlash. So we already went through that. PJ Media, let's see. Old school election deniers, The Hill publishes breathless op-ed whining about Bush v. Gore. They're still complaining about Bush Gore. That's election denial. There's a whole story on it here. You can read those. The Daily Wire, media launches attack on Tesla in apparent bid to damage Elon Musk. You know, it's funny because I told you about, the recall the other day. Mainstream news organizations mounted an attack against Tesla on Wednesday in an apparent attempt to damage Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who also heads several other large companies. The primary attack centered around a so-called recall that Tesla had to issue to nearly every vehicle that it has sold in the U.S. since 2012, more than 2 million overall. The move comes after U.S. regulators have looked into the company's autopilot system and its role in some accidents that have happened across the U.S. for the last several years. The report from the New York Times was emblematic of the way that the media covered the story, as the newspaper claimed that Tesla's reputation for making technologically advanced cars suffered a blow as a result of the recall. It wasn't until deep into the Times report that the newspaper informed the readers that the recall was not really a recall in the traditional sense, i.e. customers have to schedule a time to bring their vehicle to a Tesla facility to be serviced. Instead, I read this thinking that I had the full impression that, this is the last we're going to do, by the way, I had the full impression that people had to take their cars in. Instead, the world's leading electric car manufacturer is automatically sending out wireless updates to all of its cars through cellular networks that will include updates that will hopefully satisfy regulators, including new warnings and checks to ensure that drivers are paying attention on the road. Now, I remember when we read this article, which was, I think it was yesterday, and I too was of the distinct impression that every single car was going to have to go in and have, or go through a diagnostic or whatever, that they weren't going to be able to do it electronically like they do all their other updates. So Tesla's, the cars, they update them just like you get an update on your cell phone or computer. They do it over wireless, right? And they do little updates just like any other computer. And so I was wondering, wow, this recall, are they actually going to have to take every car in to have this done? Is it like a physical piece? No, it's a software update. Oh my gosh. I fell for it too. All right. Headlines only. We're getting out of here. In Breitbart, climate alarmists shame COP28 into overtime deal to abandon fossil fuels. In the American Thinker, president of the Illinois NAACP called illegal aliens savages. We might have to touch on this one tomorrow. That's a juicy one. PJ Media, is Illinois still offering $9,000 to illegals for rent? I think the answer might be yes. And the people in the hood are not happy. Just saying. And Daily Wire, man charged in the murder of the Detroit synagogue leader. We knew that he got arrested. Now he has been officially charged in Washington Free Beacon, after months after Biden claimed to defund the Wuhan lab, Senate Republicans are going to finish the job because, Biden may not remember he said it. Breitbart, Biden administration is asking states to pass a gun ban that the U.S. Senate rejected. The U.S. Senate rejected. Chuck Schumer's running the Senate. The Senate majority, no, ain't happening. Free Beacon, Biden says he hates dark money, but his favorite super PAC would be broke without it. Democrats benefit from dark money more than Republicans. Sorry, it's truth. And also, what was the one? The Citizens United. They always complain about Citizens United. That was a boon for Democrats. I'm just telling you. Trump slams Biden as low IQ in Iowa. Joe, the most corrupt president in history. Oh boy, former Donald Trump slammed President Joe Biden as low IQ and the most president. Okay, that's the same as the headline. In the National Pulse, unlock this article. Here we go. Senator Josh Hawley has endorsed Donald Trump for president. No shocker there. Legal insurrection. Saturday Night Live faces calls to apologize for the sketch that mocked Representative Elise Stefanik rather than University of Presidents. Yeah, good luck. Who are they facing these calls to apologize from, though? This is really appalling. Dr. Sarah Yael Hirschhorn, a historian of Israel and Jews, and a visiting professor at the University of Haifa in Israel, wrote of Saturday's cold open. So activists on the Jewish side of the ledger are doing that. Even the liberal head of the ADL thought it was obnoxious. ADL head criticizes Saturday Night Live's anti-Semitism hearings skit as atrocious. Well, it was atrocious because it sucked and it wasn't funny, and it took a shot at the person who was probably the star of that hearing. So I get it. So there you go. All right, I got to go. Teespring store, I got links to that, including that one particular shirt, but the whole store is up on the links. I will drop all these links into the chat during the outro here. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for retweeting the show. I just see you did it too. Appreciate that. And Jimmy Das Hotep, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Way to go. So thanks, everybody. I got to go because, time's a wasting. Well, I'm wasting time by even saying even more. So thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back tomorrow at 10. Thank you. Goodbye. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.